Have you ever been watching or studying football and heard the terms like 21 personnel, 10 personnel, or even 11 personnel and wondered what the heck that is? I'm going to explain to you offensive personnel today in under 5 minutes. So in the game of football, personnel groupings on offense are assigned a number. And that boils down to two simple things. How many backs are in the backfield and how many tight ends are on the field. So in this traditional I formation example, there are 2 running backs on the field and 1 tight end, so it's called 21 personnel. If we were to remove this tailback and turn him into a wide receiver, that now means that we have 11 personnel because there's 1 running back in the backfield, 1 tight end. If we remove this tight end and we turn him into a wide receiver, we now have 10 personnel because there's 1 running back in the backfield and there are no tight ends on the field. What are some other formations that we might see? We might see 2 tight ends on the field, in which we would get something that looks like this. In that particular case, we now have 12 personnel. In run-heavy teams, we might get a situation where there are 2 running backs in the backfield and 2 tight ends. In that case, 1, 2, 1, 2, that is now 22 personnel. Let's say we're facing a super run-heavy football team, like your wing T types. Now we have 2 running backs on the field and 1, 2, 3 tight ends. That now means we have 23 personnel. So you might ask yourself, why is this important? Why do we need to know the numbers for the personnel on offense? It's because the defense wants to match up their personnel versus the personnel that the offense has on the field. So here's an example. In this personnel grouping, there's 1 tight end, there's 2 running backs, that's 21 personnel. More likely that we might get runs in this particular case. And in that case, you're going to want to have more linebackers on the field than DBs. And that's why if the offense is in 21 personnel, you might hear the coach on the defense say, hey, 21 personnel. He lets the coach know that, and the coach sends the proper package out on the field, the one that has 3 linebackers on the field ready to handle that run play. Now, what might happen if you don't match that personnel up the right way? In this particular example, we have 10 personnel, 1 running back in the backfield, and no tight ends. That means we have 4 wide receivers out on the field. Well, that's okay in this spot. It's okay in this spot. It might be okay in this spot, but it's probably a bad situation in this spot because we get a wide receiver matched up against a linebacker, and typically that linebacker is not going to have a good time covering that wide receiver. That's why it's important to know the personnel so the defensive coordinator can get things set up to where this linebacker now becomes a defensive back, better able to cover this wide receiver should he go out on a route. And when there are obvious passing situations, you might see the defense go in and throw in what is known as a dime package. That's when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 defensive backs. 5 defensive backs is the nickel, and that 6th defensive back makes it a dime package. You get this guy right here, so you have DBs ready to cover these 4 wide receivers and safeties available in the back half to do what it is that they do. Now, what if the coach brought dime personnel out on the field and the offense converted into a first down and then sent out 21 personnel, which as we know is 1 tight end and 2 running backs. But the defense did not change out their personnel and they left the dime back and the nickel back in the game. As you can see, this would provide a very big advantage for the offense because they've got bigger people in the game and we left the little guys in here to try and take on the run game. As you can see, they would have a superior advantage if they were blocking these smaller guys with these big guys and ran the football. This is why you match up personnel. You must know what the personnel is And then on defense, you match up the proper personnel with what the offense has countered with. So as you can see, there's a rhyme or reason for having those numbers coincide with what's on the field. There's always a game inside of the game in the game of football, and that's what makes it so great. So now when you hear things like 21 personnel or 22 personnel or 13 personnel, you're going to know what that means, and you're going to also know why that stuff's important. The defensive personnel must match the offensive personnel, or there are going to be some really big mismatches, big plays, and some touchdowns that the defense really doesn't want to see. Hey, I hope this helped you out. If it did, give this a like and a share, and also subscribe to the channel. Would really, really appreciate that. That's it for me, and as always, all eyes DB Camp. Consistency breeds results.